I got to be honest. We got to skip to the end first. You said you've been in a couple of these. I thought Ghosts of Christmas Always was it. Have you done? Do you had something in the can I don't know about, or did you do one I'm not familiar with?
There is something in the can. I realize
Gosh, we just got you in so much trouble.
And Ian gets sued. How about this? Well, I feel like we can compromise. There is something else that's in the pipeline, but actually can't speak about it yet because, and not like I signed an NDA, but mainly that it's going to be a new thing. And I think as you all are probably pretty aware, the Hallmark is going to roll out a whole slew of things this year. And I'm a part of something else. Is annoyingly vague.
Cut it. We got it. We got what we needed. Ian, it's been great. It's been fun. Thanks. We got the clip. We got
Ian Harding is going to be in something else.
Actually, just out of sheer spite, I'm going to pitch to Hallmark. It's like, I got to do something, and you have to call it something else.
Yeah. We got to call it something else.
Yeah, I told these guys I was in something else. My hands are tied.
Ian, thank you so much for joining us. This is very exciting. I'm like laughing to myself a little bit about how upset many people that are listening to this or watching on Philo are going to be when they find out that we have never seen, nor do we know anything about Pretty Little Liars.
Just giving that up right now.
And so we're not going to dive deep into that because honestly, at this point, I don't know. What am I going to do?
Those three things. Pretty, probably. Yeah. Liar. Were you one of those in the show? Were you little?
I was younger, if you mean, and like I've seen some photos of it now. I'm like, oh my god, the ravages of time. But yeah, I was with the right amount of silicone and things. So it's kind of that was probably prettier then. And
little
a lot. Lies. I mean, I feel like nobody was honest on that show, and we also had to master the art of. Actually, even in doing press, like if I was doing something like this for Pretty Little Liars, I loved lying, just making up red herrings. Like I would sometimes give people like, and I got pretty good at it too, where I'd say something like, it is tough, like having this be like my last, or and then try and like cover it up. And they're like, last season, is he dying? And then I did that a couple of times, and people thought.
Well, now I don't actually know if you have something else for Hallmark. Now everything is up in the air.
Yeah,
my gosh!
Mind tricks.
Ian, can you truthfully tell us where you're from and where you got the acting bug? Like, were you in some school plays or what was going on there?
Yeah, by the way, I'd also like to call out for those of you who are watching this. I'm still very much have the acting bug, as you can see from my crap. Like this is like I'll do self tapes on this thing, and this camera's clear. Like I don't know how to zoom out on the. So this is what's happening here.
What's the last audition you did back there right now? What is it?
I also can't say that was a nice. They have happened, which is nice. Which I'm always pleasantly surprised. But I guess where I'm from, where I got the acting bug. I grew up in Northern Virginia, like right outside Washington, D.C. And both parents were sort of, military or worked for the federal government. And so very much not in the entertainment industry. And I went, like I grew up singing in choirs and everything. Like my mom's side of the family is very performative. Like everybody sings. And that's why I sound like a news anchor and have since like the 6th grade. So the first thing that changed in my body in puberty was I sounded like this, except I was a child.
I mean, it's working for you now, but that had to be off-putting for 12-year-old Ian Harding. Like that had to be.
Can I have the nachos?
Excuse me, I believe you're in my locker.
Well, I would come, or I'd speak to people on the phone or something, and then we'd meet in real life, and they were kind of like, "Oh, you're not 28." Oh, this is weird. I'm like, no, I'm 11, and I won't be able to drive for many years. But yeah, no, I went to this sort of all boys private school for high school, and it was very sports oriented, and I was athletic, but I wasn't like national team level, which was like most of these guys. And so they had a drama program, and where a lot of the local girls' schools would come and try out, and it'd be like co-ed sort of situation. And then and so I ended up doing that, discovering that I really loved it and had some talent for it. And then just said like I kind of want to do this, and I went to a drama school for university, and then went out to LA after that, and now I'm talking with you.
So
a lot has been covered in
that's
that.
right. The rest is history. Your parents, both government employees, you said you wanted to go to an acting school for college. What was that reaction like?
Yeah, my parents were probably the most, supportive, lovey-dovey, like my dad was in the army and then was the editor for a while of a magazine called Soldiers Magazine. It's like, hooah. And yet he loves wearing Crocs and Hawaiian shirts. And he was I said, like, I think I want to be an actor, Dad. He was like, okay, well, don't suck at it, or whatever. Like, I mean, he was far more supportive than that. But I basically said, I think I want to go do some drama school stuff. And he was like, all right, we'll do the auditions. And if you get in, I think that's your answer. And you pursue that until you don't. And then you figure out something else to do. Mom was also very supportive. I think she was very pragmatic about it. And my mom is like a very to the point sort of. She was like, yeah, well, if you get a degree in it and you don't make it, you can at least teach it. I was like, which is not untrue.
That's right. That's right.
So I still might teach it at some point because as we can see here, auditioning is tough.
The new thing for Hallmark he has is at Hallmark University. If you can believe it.
Yeah,
man. That's great.
It's a gig. Yeah, it's a gig he's got teaching.
Going from Virginia to LA, what was that like? Was there a culture shock for you? Did it take you a long time to get used to the time zone situation? Because I'm still kind of confused by that.
Yeah. Oh, the
3-hour time.
3 hour. Like, can we just all agree? Like, let's just do the one. I'm still on this idea, but anyway, for you, what was it like?
I actually had a bit of a rude awakening in that I went out to LA and I had been auditioning a little bit in Pittsburgh, which is the city where I went to school, and it was like industrial things, or like a movie that came through town. And so I had some film experience, some being very small, and I had complete beginner's luck because I went out. It was literally the first pilot that I went out for in Los Angeles was Pretty Little Liars.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, and so even now, my concept of, excuse me while I move this microphone. My concept of auditioning is completely warped. I'm like, yeah, now I get this, and it goes for another 7 years, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
That.
Do you know how many people hate you in Los Angeles?
Totally, 100%, and it's because I said, oh well, I'm not going to get it, or statistically speaking, this is like winning the lottery, and so I had no hang-ups about it. I just kind of went in and saw it all as one big exercise, and then that was it. I think I really was expecting it to go for, it'd be great if it went for like a season or two. I could pay off my college debt, but that was it,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Does working on a show for 158 episodes give you the ability now to just decide if, like, to be more picky with what you want to do?
Dan wants to know how much money you made.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
Just ask him a question.
I think the blue screen is clear how much money he makes. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know if you, after that experience, you didn't just jump back in and went, I'm going to be more selective, or were you just like, yeah, what's the next thing?
I think I should be more selective. However, for my own mental health, I think something that you hear about a lot, and usually around award season, which I guess is right now. I should pay more attention to that, but I don't. You hear a lot of actors that are like, look, I knew what I wanted to be, and I was selective, and I did that one thing, and here I am, Oscars, baby. But you never hear the fact that there are probably like 8 or 9 for every actor that says that. There are 8 or 9 other actors that you never hear from, because I think for me, I've always just loved working, and it's always been play for me, and so I have been selective, I suppose, but mainly I just love being on a set and sort of figuring out how to make something work. Especially like sometimes you get like an audition or a meeting for something, and it's kind of bad. And and you're like, how do I make, these people in the scene, they don't speak as humans speak. How do I make that work? And that's the fun challenge and it's also completely masochistic because sometimes it doesn't.
So
make feel
you
like
get a script for an audition, you're like, this is terrible. Where's the audition? Where do I go? Is that what you do?
100%. Yeah, or I work on it a little bit. I'm like, oh, can I also just go off the rails with this? Like, he's supposed to be, like a handsome, charming guy that's supportive. I was like, what if he's a little bit of a jerk? Like, what if if they're looking for somebody who's just like the guy you bring home to mom, and I come in and give him, like, he's a little aloof, like a little crazy. Like, what would that do? So I get
How does that go for you?
not great a lot. I mean,